Cole, maybe just take us through the year for you and your growth as a player.
Yeah. Year 4 for me here. Time certainly flies. This year started out, it was a little banged up sort of just throughout this year. So that was the first time in my career I actually had to deal with sort of any injuries. I've been fortunate so far. So that made it a little bit rocky. We had a younger team earlier on in the year. And then, so which was just different from last year where we certainly had a much older team. But I think, yeah, the coaching staff, just sort of the same messages all year and stuff. We were able to sort of get messages across, and I think by the end of the year we were playing the way that we wanted to play. And, yeah, it ended up being really fun throughout the whole thing, sort of growing like that as a team.
You wear a letter on your jersey, but without Jimmy here for the first part of the season until I think January, did you feel like you needed to take more of a leadership role on with this group, even though you were banged up?
I think it could have felt like that, but it didn't as much just because we sort of have so many guys that can do that sort of job. Just guys who have been around here for a bit, and then a lot of good character in the room. So I don't think it felt like it fell too much on any one guy. Obviously, you can't really replace what Jim brings in the room. So it was sort of just a lot of us that were here the year before. I think just getting messages through and sticking with stuff day by day. It's a long year, so I think just being consistent every day and getting those messages through. And, yeah, like I said, we were younger in the beginning, and then obviously so many moving parts in the American League and a little bit different lineup at the end of the year. So, but, yeah, I think it was good.
What can you say about your group? I mean, you guys, as you said, you battled, you fought. You always this team never seemed to die. Like it always seemed to. There was always even if you were down in a game, you could fight back your way back in. And even in that game 5, that's what you guys managed to do. Can you speak to the idea of how your team just, again, whether it's from the coaching staff or whether it was internally from the players, always had that push and never really just said, okay, well, we're out of this game. You guys always kept going.
Yeah, I just think that sort of that mindset is just something that guys took pride in throughout the year. It's something that, the coaching staff held us accountable for that, and you certainly had to make sure that you did bring it every single day. And then, I guess just over time as the season goes on, you sort of build in that feeling that you're never out of a game, whether you're down a goal, 2 goals, or it'd be the same thing if you were up a goal or 2, that the game's certainly not over, and just to play it all the way through. And, like you said, we gave it a run there even in the last one, but just couldn't quite close it out.
How much frustration, it's obviously tough to get knocked out of the playoffs, but the frustration carried over when, you come back at those 2 big overtime wins, a couple of chances to close, and then you lose it in 5. I mean, does it add to this thing a little bit?
Yeah, maybe. Just a different feel, I guess. A couple guys talked about Game 5 just over the last day from a year ago. I don't actually remember the score from the previous one, but I don't think it was quite as close as the game yesterday or 2 days ago. So definitely a bit of a different feel. Still sort of sifting through it, I guess.
How is that disappointment? Like you were talking about how the team kind of came together and, you've gone through some changes throughout the year, but, the disappointment, do you feel there was maybe more in the tank there that maybe you could have achieved a little more? Like how disappointing is it to have an exit after this round? Yeah,
certainly disappointing. More in the tank is tricky because I certainly don't think anybody left anything out there. I think, it came right down to literally the last 30 seconds. So I do think everybody gave it just about everything they had. And, it's easy to say it at the last minute, but, it was we had 2 periods before that to do our thing too. So, it's certainly frustrating though.
I should rephrase that, capabilities-wise, in terms of what this team would have been capable of. Do you think it was capable of more just, gave it your all, cut short, but do you think this team would have liked to have seen it go further and see what you could have achieved?
Yeah, I think even touching back to Dave's question, just that feeling of sort of always being in every game was the mindset that we had. So I'm sure that we certainly weren't looking ahead to any other series, so it's tough to say. But, it felt like if we were playing in a game, we had a chance to win.
Cool. Just quickly, what you said, you mentioned this is your 4th year in Winnipeg. What have you taken from this? Like becoming part of the community, and what have you learned about the city now that you've been here for 4 years?
I feel so much like home. You do learn so much about it. Just I guess for me, being from the States and stuff, how big of rural hockey plays in Winnipeg. Seeing the Jets games close by and everything, and just how passionate the fan base is and how much they really do love hockey here. And just the winter is as cold as people make it out to be. But you certainly get used to it. I wouldn't say it bothers me anymore. Yeah, and I've really grown to like it here, and it's been awesome.
And what's the plan for the summer?
Yeah, get back home, try and get in the ocean a little bit, try and get some sun, and then, yeah, a week or two here and start training again and sort of get back into it. But it'll be good to just relax and wind down. You get to see some friends and family. It's tough for them to get out to Winnipeg, a little tricky. So it'll be good to just sort of see everyone, get a little reset in, and then looking forward to getting back into hockey.